Galactic soldiers laughed at Earth's skills until a samurai entered the arena. The Nexus arena hummed with anticipation as representatives from across the galaxy gathered for the annual combat trials. Species from 1,000 worlds had sent their finest warriors to compete in what had become the most prestigious military tournament in known space. The massive stadium, carved from a single asteroid and equipped with gravity manipulators, could simulate any battlefield condition imaginable. Commander Zethkri of the Valthorian Empire adjusted his energy shield and sneered at the human delegation, seated in the lower tiers. The humans had only recently been accepted into the Galactic Council, and their inclusion in the combat trials was seen by many as a courtesy rather than a serious competition. Their primitive kinetic weapons and crude armor seemed laughably outdated compared to the plasma rifles and quantum shields employed by more advanced civilizations. "Look at them," Zethkri rumbled to his aide, his mandibles clicking with amusement. "They still use metal blades. Metal! As if steel could pierce a molecular barrier field." The crystalline delegate, Shard Singer Veltos, resonated with harmonious laughter. "My scouts report that their entire military doctrine is based on projectile weapons and chemical explosives. How quaint. It will be educational for the newer council members to witness proper combat techniques." As the preliminary rounds began, the predictions seemed accurate. The human Marines, despite their determination and tactical coordination, were systematically eliminated by opponents wielding superior technology. Their bullets bounced harmlessly off energy shields, their grenades were deflected by gravity wells, and their combat suits offered little protection against plasma streams that could melt through starship hulls. The arena's viewing screens displayed the current standings, and Earth sat firmly at the bottom. Laughter and derisive comments echoed through the alien delegations as another human soldier was teleported out after his rifle literally melted in his hands during a firefight with a thermoid warrior. However, there was one human who had yet to compete. Master Takeshi Yamamoto sat in perfect stillness in the preparation chamber, his eyes closed in meditation. At 63 years old, he was by far the oldest competitor in the trials, his weathered face bearing the lines of decades spent in disciplined practice. His equipment was even more primitive than his fellow humans. No armor beyond a simple hakama and gi, no weapons save for a katana that his family had forged 4 centuries ago on Earth. The other human soldiers had questioned the wisdom of including him in their delegation. What could an old man with an ancient sword accomplish against warriors who could manipulate gravity and bend light itself? But Admiral Chen had insisted. "There are things about Earth's martial traditions that these aliens don't understand," she had said. "Things that can't be measured in joules or calculated in targeting algorithms." When Yamamoto's name was called, the arena fell into an expectant hush, then erupted in alien approximations of laughter. The Nexus combat simulator materialized a standard arena, a simple circular platform suspended in space, with basic environmental controls set to Earth normal conditions. His opponent was Warrior Prime Gulmoth of the Kregan hegemony, a being that stood 3 meters tall and was encased in powered armor that could deflect starship weaponry. The alien's weapon was a plasma lance capable of carving through battleship hulls, and his shield generators could absorb enough energy to power a small city. The starting signal echoed across the arena. Gulmoth raised his lance, the weapon's tip glowing white-hot as plasma coils charged to lethal intensity. He had dispatched his previous opponents in seconds, his superior firepower overwhelming even the most advanced defenses. This elderly human with his primitive blade would last even less time. The plasma bolt streaked across the arena. Yamamoto moved. It wasn't the explosive speed of enhanced reflexes or cybernetic augmentation. It was something far more subtle. A perfect economy of motion honed by decades of discipline. His body flowed like water around the superheated plasma, the bolt passing so close that it singed his sleeve. In the same fluid movement, he advanced, 3 steps toward his opponent. Gulmoth's tactical computer recalculated. The human should have been vaporized. He fired again, then again, each shot precise and lethal. But Yamamoto seemed to exist in the spaces between the attacks, never quite where the targeting systems predicted he would be. Each evasion brought him closer to the towering alien warrior. The arena fell silent. Even the most arrogant delegates leaned forward in their seats. 20 meters, 15, 10. Gulmoth's shield generators hummed to maximum power as he prepared for close combat. His armor's strength enhancers could crush steel, and his personal barrier could stop a missile strike. But as Yamamoto drew his katana in a motion too smooth to follow, something in the alien warrior's tactical assessment subroutines triggered an alert he had never seen before. Unknown threat parameter. The blade sang through the air. The molecular edge of the katana, folded and refolded by masters who had perfected their craft across generations, met the quantum barrier field. For a microsecond, impossible forces contested, advanced science against ancient art. Then the field collapsed, not overcome by brute force, but somehow bypassed, as if the blade had found the single point where energy became vulnerable to steel. Yamamoto's second cut severed the plasma lance's power conduit. His third found the gap between helmet and chest plate that no computer had calculated could exist. The fourth and final movement of his kata placed the tip of his blade at Gulmoth's throat, just beneath the warrior's primary breathing apparatus. The arena's combat sensors registered the match as complete. 3.5 seconds had elapsed since the starting signal. In the stunned silence that followed, Admiral Chen's voice carried clearly across the human delegation. "We call it Bushido, the way of the warrior. It's not about the weapon, it's about the spirit that guides it. Commander." Zethakri found his mandibles no longer clicking with amusement. Across the arena, delegates who had dismissed Earth's martial prowess began requesting detailed analyses of human combat doctrines. The crystalline Shardsinger's harmonics had shifted to tones of respect and wariness. As Yamamoto bowed to his defeated opponent and sheathed his sword, he spoke quietly, his words picked up by the arena's sensors. "Victory is not in the strength of the arm, but in the stillness of the mind." The combat trials continued, but the galaxy had learned something new about humanity that day. Some advantages could not be replicated by technology or calculated by computers. Some weapons were forged not in factories, but in the disciplined hearts of warriors who understood that true strength came from within. The laughter had stopped.